Hey Pewter Report listeners, I'm James Hill, and in my debut video today, we are actually going to be taking a little bit of a dive into a series here on the Pewter Report TV channel, where we actually take a look at Pro Football Focus's rankings for certain position groups going into the 2023 season. And I thought no better way to start than with the quarterback position, ranking all 32 quarterbacks ahead of the 2023 season. Now, obviously, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are in a very interesting spot with their quarterback position. You have Baker Mayfield and Kyle Trask battling for a spot right now. It's going to be pretty interesting to see which guy prevails in terms of who is going to be the starting quarterback for the Buccaneers. So it's definitely going to be something worth paying attention to. I know a lot of people are excited about this training camp battle, so it is going to be interesting to see where Pro Football Focus has the Bucs quarterback falling. And I guess it'll also be very interesting to see which quarterback Pro Football Focus thinks is going to prevail in that quarterback battle. So let's go ahead and take a look here at the list. We're not going to spend a ton of time, honestly, on the top names on this list. We don't need to, and it's a lot of names that we already know. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert being all the way up there at number 4. Shout out to Herbert, I suppose. And then you have some of the other names in there as well. Jalen Hurts being at number 7 is pretty low in my opinion. I would probably put him up there in the top 5, but that is just me personally. But you go here to the top 10. Shout out to Kirk Cousins, by the way. That's pretty cool that he is there at number 9, but we still don't see any Tampa Bay Buccaneers so far up to this point. You keep on going all the way to number 15. Shout out Geno Smith. Such a cool story with Geno and what he was able to do with the Seattle Seahawks last year. Dave Canales was there, which was pretty cool as well. He's the Bucs' new offensive coordinator now. Jared Goff at number 16. Again, another guy that I think really rejuvenated and in a lot of ways revived his career, coming in at number 16. But we're at the midway point, still no Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's another pretty interesting thing to note there. No, you've actually got to go all the way down. Oh, by the way, Kenny Pickett number 22 for the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's kind of wild. I'll get to that in a moment. But you got to go all the way down. 25, 26, 27, 28. Baker Mayfield, quarterback of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, is the 28th ranked quarterback according to Pro Football Focus going into the upcoming 2023 season, and the paragraph reads as follows. It's difficult to argue that Mayfield's 2022 season was easily predictable, but it's equally difficult to maintain any kind of lofty expectations for him going forward after witnessing it. His 50.6 Pro Football Focus grade on the year was 13 grading points lower than his previous career worst mark, which involved a torn shoulder. And it speaks volumes that the Rams were happy to let him walk after he led the team to a remarkable win just after stepping off the plane after they traded for him. Mayfield has very good play on his NFL resume, but it's getting harder and harder to see in the rear view mirror. Now, firstly, I want to say this, I understand where this paragraph is coming from. I do, because look, at the end of the day, Baker Mayfield has now joined his 4th team in a calendar year. That's kind of crazy to think about for any player, but especially a starting caliber type of quarterback like Mayfield. He was with the Cleveland Browns. Things did not end well there, given the Deshaun Watson trade. Mayfield was obviously fed up with his time in Cleveland, and both sides decided to move on from each other. He then went to the Carolina Panthers, had some time there. That was an absolute mess in my opinion. You had Matt Rule getting fired, you had Christian McCaffrey getting traded away. A lot of different stuff happened there, and the Panthers, while they were closer to winning the division last year, and I think a lot of people think, still wasn't the best of situations for most players on that team last year, and there was a lot of factors that went into that. Hey, Baker Mayfield went into that a little bit with his play. The coaching staff went into that a pretty good amount too. The front office kind of wanting to reshape some of that roster. There was a lot of things that went into the Carolina Panthers not doing good last year. Unfortunately, Baker Mayfield was a part of that. He then got released, went to the LA Rams, had some good moments there and some not great moments there as well. As the paragraph had mentioned, the guy went in 2 days after getting signed and won a football game. That's not easy to do. But you do look at it, and Mayfield, he had some good moments with the Rams. He had some iffy moments with the Rams. He was only there for a month. So is that truly a long enough time to say, hey, this time was good for Baker Mayfield or this time was bad for Baker Mayfield? In my opinion, I would say it's not enough time to get a reasonable sample size of what Mayfield could do with the LA Rams. But I will say one benefit there is that hopefully there are some notes of that system in the Bucs news system with Dave Canales as offensive coordinator, West Coast style of offenses and whatnot, systems that really benefit the quarterback and really help limit mistakes that the quarterback can make and whatnot. So that is a benefit there for Baker Mayfield, certainly. But now he is with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, has signed a 1-year prove-it deal, and I would say in all aspects of the meaning, it is a prove-it deal for Baker. Baker's got a lot to prove, not just to the Bucs, but to the NFL, to himself, for leadership, for going back to being the player, he once was. It talked about it. The good Baker Mayfield play is getting farther and farther away. There was a time when Baker Mayfield led the Browns to a playoff game and won a playoff game. There was a time when Baker Mayfield was putting up really good stats in the early parts of his career, but he's 28 now, and that was a couple years ago. So what kind of Baker Mayfield are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going to get? Are they going to get the old version of Baker Mayfield, where he was leading his team to the playoffs, really doing some good stuff with a good cast around him, or are they going to get 2022 Baker Mayfield? That's going to be the biggest question mark here. In my opinion, I would not have Baker Mayfield this low at 28. I would probably put him up here, probably I would say 25, maybe even 24. I'm not saying that he's better than Jimmy Garoppolo, but I would personally put Kenny Pickett down, probably in that 25 range. I would move Garoppolo and Brock Purdy up, and then I would probably have Baker Mayfield in here. I would say 24 at most, 25 at least. I think that whenever you look at Sam Howell, you look at Jordan Love, you look at Bryce Young, all these guys still have a lot to prove. Baker still has some good track records to his name and some good resume type moments to his name, even if it was a couple of years ago at this point. So I think that personally, should Baker be in the lower half of a list like this? I'd say right now, yes, until he can certainly prove himself. And, I know what the hope for a lot of Bucs fans is that he will. And obviously the hope for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is that he will. And you take a look, too, at guys who were able to prove themselves. You look all the way up here at number 16 and 15, Geno Smith of the Seattle Seahawks, Jared Goff of the Detroit Lions. That's the best example of what Baker Mayfield could be this upcoming season. I really do believe that, because both these guys really revived, saved their careers, and have been named the guys for their respective teams going forward. I think that that's the best case scenario for Baker Mayfield if he is able to have a revival with Dave Canales and get into a situation where he could be a top half quarterback in this league if he is able to capitalize on the talent around him and make that comeback that a lot of people think and hope that he can make. So again, me personally, I'd probably have him at number 24, number 25, Bryce Young, Jordan Love, Sam Howell. Myself personally, I haven't seen enough from those guys to justify Baker Mayfield being put, or I guess those guys being put above Baker Mayfield, but it still is an interesting situation nonetheless. But folks, let me know your guys' thoughts and opinions. What do you think about Baker Mayfield being down at number 28? In my opinion, I think it's too low. Do you guys agree with the ranking? Do you disagree? Give your guys' thoughts and opinions as to why or why not you feel that way. And yeah, I'm interested to see your guys' comments. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope y'all enjoyed. And as always, folks, we'll see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and see you soon.